Imagine a long-lost book holding the answers to humanity's fundamental questions about our origins, identity, and destiny. This book exists and is known as the Corpus Hermeticum. For centuries, alchemists, philosophers, and truth-seekers have studied this collection of writings. It is believed that Hermes Trismegistus, a being considered part divine and part human, authored this work. His ideas influenced empires and inspired brilliant minds like Isaac Newton and Giordano Bruno, shaping the basis of occultism, alchemy, and even modern science. But what makes this book so significant? What secrets does it unveil? In this video, we will delve into the mysteries of the Corpus Hermeticum, reveal its hidden meanings, and explore how this knowledge can impact your life. Prepare for a journey to the source of hermetic wisdom. Few works in human history possess such a deep sense of mystery as the Corpus Hermeticum. It's more than just a book. It's a compilation of texts that were regarded for centuries as the key to understanding the divine and the nature of existence itself. Its beginnings are shrouded in the distant past, existing in a hazy area between legend and reality. The Hermetic texts appear during a period of significant change in the ancient world, specifically the 2nd and 3rd centuries AD. Egypt at this time still held the ancient wisdom of the pharaohs, but was under Roman rule. Alexandria, a center of knowledge, was home to both the world's tallest lighthouse and the largest ancient library. It was a meeting point of cultures where Greeks, Egyptians, Romans, Jews, and Persians exchanged ideas, blending science, philosophy, and religion. It was within this environment that the texts of the Corpus Hermeticum originated, a collection of spiritual dialogues purported to be revelations from Hermes Trismegistus, the master of occult wisdom, a divine messenger, a teacher of the soul, and the guardian of hidden secrets whose knowledge was otherworldly. Many believed he lived in the earliest periods of Egyptian civilization, and that his teachings were passed down through texts understood only by initiates. In the work of Asclepius, one of the Hermetic treatises, it is stated that the Egyptians always took great care to keep their teachings secret, believing only the wise were worthy of receiving such knowledge. His teachings were said to have been written on secret scrolls and kept in the temples of Egypt until they were translated into Greek and spread throughout the Hellenistic world. But what became of these texts? For centuries, Hermetic knowledge remained exclusive to small groups of initiates. With the rise of Christianity in the Roman Empire, esoteric schools faced persecution. Many libraries were burned, and temples of wisdom were destroyed. When the famous Library of Alexandria was set ablaze, much was lost, but some fragments survived. The Hermetic writings were hidden in monasteries, preserved by wise individuals who believed that one day the world would be ready to receive them again. That time arrived in the 15th century during the Renaissance. The year was 1460, and a monk named Leonardo da Pistoia was sent to Constantinople by Cosimo de' Medici, a patron of art and philosophy. Leonardo's mission was to find ancient manuscripts that had been lost in the West. In a Byzantine library, he made an incredible discovery, a collection of texts written in Greek attributed to Hermes Trismegistus. Recognizing the importance of these writings, he brought the manuscripts to Florence, where they were about to transform the destiny of Europe. Cosimo de' Medici entrusted the translation of the texts to one of his most brilliant intellectuals, Marsilio Ficino. This man was already occupied with translating the works of Plato, but Cosimo gave him a new instruction: stop everything and translate Hermes first. The reason for such urgency was that Renaissance scholars believed the Corpus Hermeticum held the key to understanding the universe's mysteries. Ficino translated the texts from Greek into Latin, making them accessible to the scholars of that era. The impact was immediate. The Corpus Hermeticum reignited interest in occultism, influencing alchemists, astronomers, and philosophers. Giordano Bruno, a significant mystic of the Renaissance, based his ideas on Hermeticism. Isaac Newton, a founder of modern science, studied alchemy and was deeply intrigued by Hermetic thought. The rediscovery of the Corpus Hermeticum laid the groundwork for what would become the Western esoteric tradition. But what exactly did these texts convey? Hermes Trismegistus does not merely speculate about the universe. He reveals knowledge that presents itself as an invitation to inner transformation. His dialogues, though sometimes puzzling and unclear, hold a timeless wisdom. At the core of his teachings is a cosmic perspective where the divine and humanity are interconnected. The first and most significant Hermetic principle is the concept of universal oneness. Nothing exists in isolation, and the separation between the physical and spiritual realms is simply an illusion created by our limited perception. In the initial treatise of the Corpus Hermeticum, known as Poimandres, Hermes receives a revelation from a being of light who tells him that everything is unified. The all is in one, and the one is in all. Everything that exists is contained within it, and it is within everything that exists. The central idea here is that the universe is not a random occurrence or a collection of unrelated events. Instead, there's an underlying intelligence, a cosmic mind that permeates all of existence. This idea echoes the logos of Greek philosophers or the Brahman of Hindu tradition. Hermes teaches that humanity is not merely an observer of the cosmos, but an active participant in this grand intelligence. But how can one access this truth? How can one perceive this unity? Hermes' answer is clear: through self-knowledge. He states that the ordinary person lives trapped in illusions, believing they're just a body, a collection of desires and fears. However, the awakened individual realizes their true nature is divine. You are light and life like God. If you so will it, he states, for man is a mortal God, and God is an immortal man. This statement resonates with many spiritual traditions throughout history. Hermes Trismegistus suggests that there is no real division between humanity and the divine. What truly exists is a state of forgetfulness. Humanity has become immersed in the material world and has forgotten its true essence. However, Hermes does not advocate for escaping the world or rejecting matter to attain the spirit. On the contrary, he affirmed that everything is part of the same divine reality. Matter and spirit are simply different expressions of the same fundamental energy. The key is to learn to recognize the divine in all things. Another fundamental teaching of the Corpus Hermeticum is the power of the mind. Hermes explains that the human mind is a reflection of the divine mind, and thought has the ability to shape reality. This directly relates to the Hermetic principle of mentalism. The all is mind. The idea that the universe is mental has profound implications. If everything is mind, then our thoughts and beliefs directly influence our experience. This explains why ancient Hermeticists dedicated significant time to the practices of contemplation and meditation. The secret to transforming life lies not in manipulating the external world, but in transforming the internal mind. Understanding the teachings of the Corpus Hermeticum allows us to see that the mysteries of the universe are, in truth, the mysteries of our own consciousness. The macrocosm and the microcosm mirror each other, as above, so below. Hermes invites us to look beyond superficial appearances and perceive the underlying truth in everything. However, this truth cannot be found solely through intellectual understanding. It must be lived and experienced. The Hermetic path is not just a theory. It is a practice, an art of living. Hermes Trismegistus does not simply discuss abstract ideas about the universe. He provides a path for the seeker to awaken their true nature and achieve enlightenment. But what does this enlightenment entail for Hermes? It is the realization of unity with the all. In the Corpus Hermeticum, Hermes describes this journey as a process of ascension. The seeker begins trapped in the material world, blinded by passions and the senses. However, through the awakening of consciousness, they ascend toward the divine. This path is not traversed physically, but through the mind and heart. It is a journey of detachment, understanding, and remembering what has always been true. The first step toward enlightenment is self-knowledge. Hermes teaches that those who wish to understand the universe must first understand themselves. This involves honest introspection, recognizing the illusions that confine us, and understanding that our true essence is not limited to the body or the ego. In one of his dialogues, he states, "The man who knows himself knows God, for within him dwells the spark of the all." However, self-knowledge alone is insufficient. Hermes teaches that the seeker must learn to control their lower passions and desires. This does not mean suppressing or denying earthly experiences, but rather learning not to be enslaved by them. The mind must become serene, like a still lake reflecting the light of truth without distortion. To reach this state, the hermetic practitioner must cultivate wisdom and virtue. Hermes emphasizes the significance of purity in thought, integrity in character, and detachment from worldly illusions. He teaches that a true sage is not defined by intellectual knowledge alone, but by living in accordance with divine principles. Within the Corpus Hermeticum, a central idea is spiritual rebirth. Hermes explains that enlightenment is not just acquiring information, but an internal transformation. The seeker must let go of the world of illusions and be reborn into a new understanding of reality. This rebirth is not physical, but mental and spiritual. Hermes describes this moment as a sudden burst of light within consciousness, an immediate recognition of the ultimate truth. "Oh, child, when you understand that you yourself are light and life, then you will enter the path of immortality," he states. This state of enlightenment is not something distant or reserved for a select few. Hermes teaches that anyone who sincerely seeks truth and diligently follows the path can attain it. However, the cost of this realization is complete surrender. The ego must be dissolved, attachment to the material world must be transcended, and the mind must be open to receiving divine wisdom. This path is not easy. Many stumble into the traps of spiritual pride, believing they've already achieved enlightenment when, in reality, they are still caught in the illusions of the ego. True enlightenment does not bring arrogance, but humility. The hermetic sage does not seek to flaunt their knowledge, but to live in harmony with the all. The path to enlightenment, according to the Corpus Hermeticum, cannot be prescribed through rigid formulas or rituals. Each seeker must undertake their own unique journey, guided by intuition and a connection with the divine. However, the underlying principles are universal: self-knowledge, purification, detachment, contemplation, and ultimately, union with the all. In the following section, we will explore how these teachings have been applied throughout history and how they have shaped esoteric thought, influencing figures from alchemists to modern scientists. Hermetic knowledge was not confined to ancient manuscripts. It remains vibrant, awaiting those who desire to awaken. The teachings of Hermes Trismegistus have endured through centuries, shaping esoteric traditions, influencing alchemists and scientists, and continuing to resonate in the modern world. The Hermetic legacy is not merely a collection of philosophical ideas, but a key to understanding the relationship between humanity and the universe. When Marsilio Ficino translated the Corpus Hermeticum in the 15th century, he reignited a flame that had been dormant since antiquity. The Renaissance, a period of rediscovering hidden knowledge, saw Hermetic teachings inspire some of the greatest thinkers of the time. Giordano Bruno, for instance, based his cosmic vision on Hermeticism, arguing for an infinite and life-filled universe. His ideas challenged the Church, leading to his condemnation, but his words continued to influence future generations. Another significant scholar of Hermeticism was Isaac Newton. Though primarily known for his scientific discoveries, Newton was also an alchemist and a profound student of the Hermetic tradition. In his personal writings, he explored the relationship between spirit and matter, believing the universe was governed by hidden principles. For Newton, science and spirituality were not opposing forces, but two paths to understanding the same truth. Alchemy, which flourished in the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, has its roots in Hermeticism. Alchemists were not simply trying to turn lead into gold, but to achieve the magnum opus, the spiritual transformation of a human being. The Hermetic principle, as above, so below, was fundamental to their experiments. They believed that by understanding the secrets of nature, they could also understand the secrets of the soul. In the 19th century, Hermeticism experienced a strong resurgence within the European occult movement. Societies like the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn aimed to revive the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus and apply them in rituals and spiritual practices. This movement influenced major figures in modern occultism, such as Aleister Crowley and Franz Bardon, who incorporated Hermetic principles into their own systems of magic. However, Hermeticism did not remain confined to esoteric circles. Its influence can also be seen in modern psychology. Carl Jung, a prominent scholar of the human mind, integrated Hermetic ideas into his theory of archetypes and the collective unconscious. He viewed the process of individuation, the journey toward wholeness, as a path similar to the spiritual alchemy of the ancient Hermeticists. In contemporary times, Hermetic concepts continue to inspire thinkers, scientists, and spiritual seekers. The idea that the universe is mental, that reality is shaped by consciousness, resonates with discoveries in quantum physics. The principle of correspondence, as within, so without, finds parallels in fractal theory and the interconnectedness of life. Hermeticism has also influenced popular culture. Films like The Matrix explore the idea of reality as an illusion, a profoundly Hermetic concept. Works of fiction, such as those by Paulo Coelho, inspired by alchemy and the spiritual journey, echo the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus. Even the modern concept of manifestation and the popularization of the law of attraction derive from the Hermetic principle of mentalism. The all is mind. But the true legacy of the Corpus Hermeticum lies not just in its historical influences. It lies in the transformation of those who encounter its teachings. Hermes Trismegistus does not provide dogmas or impose beliefs. He invites us to seek for ourselves. The legacy of Hermeticism remains alive, offering tools for those who wish to connect more deeply with the cosmos and their own divine essence. If this content resonated with you, please like, comment, and share this video with others seeking deeper answers about the universe and spirituality. Your engagement not only helps spread Hermetic wisdom, but also enables us to create more content that explores the mysteries of existence. Share your reflections in the comments. How have the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus impacted your worldview? Let's continue this journey of discovery and spiritual awakening together. Thank you for watching.